one of the simplest things you can say, actually not one of but the simplest thing you can say is somewhere along the lines of blessed be. I say benedictus, which is Latin for blessed be, or be blessed. And I usually do that as whenever I don't do it for any specific reason. Usually it is more of it is a comfort, it is a reminder to myself of jashin, the concepts. I'm having trouble trying to figure out how to describe it. I guess you could say it would be like if I were evoking a spell or trying to achieve a certain end, it would merely be bringing about the presence of jashin, bringing about these energies and reminding myself that they're there. And I usually will just, grasp my rosary and just say benedictus, reminding myself of the energies of jashin, reminding myself what I practice. You can say that in any language. You don't even have to say that. That's just something I figured I'd point out, because that's something simple. That's something that anyone can do. I mean, how hard is it to say blessed be in whatever language you choose, If you really want to just do something simple, that's it for sure. Something a little more complex, expanding on that, per se. I use it when I'm not just walking around. I mean, I'll grasp my rosary and say benedictus getting on the bus or walking out my front door, just as sort of a blessing to myself, I guess you could say. But if I'm taking my rosary off for the night and putting it on my altar, or if I'm going to bed and I really have something big coming up the next day, or if I just had a really good day, or something really good happened to me and I want to be a little more tied with what I'm saying, then I will say something more along the lines of, well, in Latin, what I will say is Ave jashin, adorate benedictus, which in Latin means Hail jashin, you are loved, blessed be, and or you are adored, you are loved, you are adored, you are worshipped, whatever. That's not exactly anything of a solid foundation. You can change that in any way you want, but that is a little more deep to me. I mean, it's basically the same thing as saying benedictus. I'm still just evoking the energies, the presence of jashin. I'm not casting any spells. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just basically appreciating the energies that are present in my everyday life. And by saying that small little prayer, I guess you could say, it kind of seals those energies for me. The good things that are happening, the bad things that are happening, the things that I have to do in the future. It seals the energies that I need for that. And you can add to that, you can take away from it, you can say it differently, you can say it in any language, but, something along the lines of Hail jashin, or beckon jashin, and, anything like that, because Ave in Latin, which is why I use Ave in Latin, is because it does not just mean hail. It means hello. It means hail. It means greeting. It is like any sort of evocation. It is just an evocation of a person, of an energy. You welcome somebody into the royal court and you would say Ave in Latin. And so it works because it basically is a very general and easy to use term. But you can say anything you want. You can say hail, you can say hello, you can say grant us your presence, whatever you want. Jashin, adorate, or adored, loved, worshipped, my appreciation is with you, anything along those lines. And then benedictus, or blessed be, or be blessed, or anything like that. As far as full-on prayer or spells go, not just little foundation things that I would do on my everyday life, usually, I don't know if any of you have listened to the prayers I put up in both Latin and Japanese. Those are a more complex prayer. Those are kind of a foundational prayer. Those are the table for which you should fill out information, basically. I mean, if you picture that as like a form, that is what needs to be there, and you can add whatever you want. You can take away whatever you want. Those prayers that I put in, basically, they were an evocation to jashin, then a thanking for the energies that we receive, a thanking for showing us darkness and the knowledge of pain, and yada yada yada. And they were basically just covering everything that most people consider a prayer to cover. But you can add anything. I mean, I recently had a spell that I did. It was a love spell, admittedly. I was having romantic issues, you could say, and this was about 4 months ago. I was having romantic issues, and so I did a love spell merely by writing the word love on a piece of paper in my own blood, and then I put it in the offering bowl, and I left it there for several weeks until I felt like it was the right time to finish the spell, until I felt like it was right to finish it. And when I felt like it was right to finish the spell, I burned the paper, casting out those energies into the system of the universe, whatever. And a couple days later, everything was fixed. I met somebody who I am very happy with. My romantic issues basically vanished just a couple days after I finished that spell. And due to that, in the past several months, every time I say that foundational prayer, I, make sure to add something of my appreciation for the success of the spell, my appreciation for that success, because it was really getting to me, it was really stressing me, it was really hurting me. And, the concept of jashin is that if you endure and just wait it out and don't try to hide from whatever is happening, that in the end it will come to something good. And it came faster due to my spell, and I appreciate that, because even though I was enduring, I was getting through it, I was making myself get through it, it still was miserable, and I wanted it to end. I wanted to get all of that out of the way so that I could just, get on with my life. And the spell succeeded, and I have great appreciation to jashin for that. Whether you view jashin as a god, or as an energy, or as whatever you view jashin as, you should show appreciation to it, because even the manifestation of energy, even if you view him as not a being, but as the manifestation of energy that is part of the cosmos, that is technically a spiritual essence, and you should appreciate that energy. You should appreciate the energies of the earth, all of them, but if, in this specific sense, we're talking about the energies of jashin. You should appreciate that, regardless of whether anyone, any being, anything is going to hear your thanks and hear your appreciation. Just that the energy of appreciation that you show when you say something of thanks or say something of appreciation, just that energy is returning the favor. And that's one of the concepts of jashin, is that everything you receive through a spell, through a prayer, anything you receive must be compensated for. In some cases, it may be compensated for before it is even cast. For example, the love spell I did. Yeah, I used blood. I used a blood offering. I used an offering of pain, but that was just to give the spell more energy. Basically, the energy that I have given out to compensate for that was already given. I still give more compensation energy through the energies of my appreciation, through the energies of my happiness. I still compensate with that energy, but I had basically already compensated for